Have you ever noticed that some people seem completely confident when they walk away from a relationship? They leave believing they've won. They expect you to chase them, question yourself, replay every conversation, and eventually come back looking for answers. In their mind, your reaction is proof that they still matter. But there is one response they rarely see coming, and it quietly changes everything. When someone depends on controlling emotions to feel important, your attention becomes their greatest source of reassurance. Every emotional text, every attempt to explain yourself, every argument keeps the connection alive. Even painful reactions can give them the sense that they still influence your world. But something remarkable happens when you stop playing that role. Instead of chasing closure, you choose peace. Instead of defending yourself, you protect your energy. You stop explaining your worth to someone determined to misunderstand it. And little by little, the balance begins to shift. At first, they may assume you're simply taking time. They expect you'll eventually return because that's how the pattern has always worked. Days pass, then weeks, still nothing. That's when uncertainty starts replacing confidence. The silence isn't confusing because you disappeared. It's confusing because they can no longer predict you. They can't measure your emotions. They can't trigger the familiar reactions that once reassured them they still had influence. That uncertainty often leads to small tests. A casual message, an old memory, a seemingly harmless check-in. Sometimes they appear unusually friendly. Other times they seem distant or eager to show how well they're doing. Different approaches, same question. Can I still affect you? The answer isn't found in what you say. It's found in what you no longer need to prove. The moment you stop searching for their approval, something inside you changes. You realize your value never depended on winning an argument or being understood by someone unwilling to listen. Your peace becomes more important than having the last word. This is why healthy boundaries feel so powerful. They're not about punishment or revenge. They're about refusing to return to patterns that constantly drained your emotional energy. As time passes, another transformation begins. The confusion that once kept you awake starts fading. You look back and notice patterns you couldn't see while living through them. Conversations that always ended with you apologizing. Moments where your feelings were dismissed. Situations where you questioned your own judgment just to keep the peace. Distance brings clarity. You begin to understand that constantly defending yourself was never a sign of a healthy relationship. Real respect doesn't require endless explanations. Genuine care doesn't leave you feeling emotionally exhausted every day. And perhaps the greatest surprise is how much of yourself returns. You laugh more freely. You make decisions without fear of criticism. You trust your instincts again. The energy once spent managing conflict is now invested in your goals, your friendships, and your future. That's the part many people never expect. The story stops being about the person who walked away and starts becoming about the person who found themselves again. Whether the other person changes is no longer the most important question. What matters is that you no longer need them to change for you to move forward. Real strength isn't forcing someone to recognize your worth. Real strength is recognizing it yourself. Eventually, the relationship becomes one chapter instead of the whole book. The memories remain, but they no longer control your decisions. Your boundaries become stronger. Your confidence grows quieter. And your peace no longer depends on anyone else's opinion. That's the greatest shift of all. The person who once believed they controlled the story slowly fades into the background, while you become the author of a completely new one. If there's one lesson to remember, it's this. Silence isn't about making someone miss you. It's about giving yourself the space to heal, rebuild, and protect your peace. The moment you stop giving your emotional energy to unhealthy patterns, you stop living inside someone else's story and finally begin writing your own. If you enjoy thoughtful conversations like this, subscribe to TF, leave a like, and keep watching. Your next breakthrough may be just one video away.